Here at the Anomic Age, we know that these times of uncertainty are stressful. It is incumbent upon all of us to put our fears first and bow down to government tyranny. Gone are the days of freely leaving your home, working, and social interactions. In exchange for safety, we will trade liberty. At the Anomic Age, we understand. However, just in case you want to get off your knees and stop being a sniveling coward, check out the John Age Project at anomicage.com.
Meet Ann Morrissey, who is here with her daughter, Dareth. Dareth is 17 years old. Mrs. Morrissey, I don't have to tell you that most parents would be extremely depressed if their daughter came home one day looking like this. I assume that was your response shock, anger, depression? What was it?
I was extremely angry. I really went bananas.
Yeah, how old was she when this happened?
Possibly 13, 14 years old.
We're talking like it's a disease, isn't it?
Well,
yeah. How did she explain it to you, Mrs. Morrissey?
there was very poor communication until we went into counseling. And it almost broke up our family. But through counseling and Serena, I can understand it better.
What do you understand?
That she feels like she doesn't want to be like everyone else, and she wants to be her own person. And through the dress code and her lifestyle, she's expressing this. It doesn't conform with our rules, but we're learning to cope, and it's a very, very difficult thing. Extremely difficult.
Dareth, let's let you talk for yourself. You're from Long Beach, California.
I just can't handle being like everybody else because that's what everybody else wants, you know. Just because somebody else does something does not mean that I have to do it. You know, I have my own morals and ideals, and I go by them.
Are you drug-free, Dareth?
Yes, I am.
Is this a political statement, then? Do you have some misgiving about the society that you see?
Yeah, there's a lot of problems, you know. A lot of the people are really aware of what's going on, you know, and I don't like it, you know. There's a lot of problems.
What?
I don't like the way society is based.
What bothers you? Give us some of the misgivings you have.
The rich, the poor, the people starving, the wars, you know. Why can't, you know, everybody just get along and just live their life?
Here at the Anomic Age, we know that these times of uncertainty are stressful. It is incumbent upon all of us to put our fears first and bow down to government tyranny. Gone are the days of freely leaving your home, working, and social interactions. In exchange for safety, we will trade liberty. At the Anomic Age, we understand. However, just in case you want to get off your knees and stop being a sniveling coward, check out the John Age Project at
Talon Real and Chevy.
Propagating truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the John Age Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the Anomic Age, and I am your host, John Age. Sitting in the main seat, hailing proudly from the coastal plain of the Old North State, I will be your tour guide this afternoon as we take a somewhat satirical journey down the path of murder, destruction, mayhem, and the extermination of human life on this planet. A forced march into obsolescence thrust upon us by a global satanic death cult of pedophiles. Check out anomicage.com. If you can do no more, like all the likes, subscribe to all the subscriptions, paypal.me/anomicage, patreon.com/anomicage as well. I got the donate with Cash App. I got the buy me a cup of coffee. I got the Satoshis. Got some lightning link action up there and so much more. Free iPhone app, free Android app. Subscribe by email link. And subscribe to the free newsletter. All that and so much more at anomicage.com. Can't stress it enough. So, enough of that. It feels kind of weird to be back, but I feel kind of good to be back. Title of this afternoon's episode, 437 information breakdown segment, expiration date. Imagine that. Me, the morose, melancholy type, glass not even there. I'm going to talk about the expiration date. And it's funny the things that you remember, and as I always say, the things that you do indeed forget. And as I was kind of writing stuff down, preparing for this episode today, I thought about two things from my, I guess, adolescence. I think there's still a website called The Death Clock. Shout out to my friend Chad, The Death Clock. He told me about this some 30 years ago, I think, but you could basically put in your birthday, hit go, and it would, of course, just spit out some sort of random day and time and so forth of your untimely demise, your death date, your expiration date, if you will. And it was funny 30 years ago, and I guess it should maybe still rouse a grin today, but I don't know. Because as I mentioned on the previous episode, as you have these near-death experiences, as you get closer and closer to the end zone, you encounter more and more deaths in your life. You thus, by proxy, do have a near-death experience. And I was running down in my own mind's eye a couple days ago, just some of the, I won't say near-death experiences, but I'll just say close calls. You know, one roll of the dice a little bit too far, we're coming up snake eyes. You know what I mean? So I won't say anything of the real near-death experiences where people experience the light at the end of the tunnel. No, but I've experienced them. Man, I hope this don't go over the guardrail. You know, that sort of thing. So I come back to the old reminiscing topics, and I think about another time as I was titling this afternoon's episode, expiration date, and I wasn't sure what to call it, to be honest. I was pondering, and then it all just clicked. I know what to call this. And I was taken back to a friend and I talking, again, decades ago. Shout out to Matt. You know who you are. But we were talking about the Crass record, Best Before 1984. And for some reason we were talking about it, and I couldn't remember that album title. So I blurted out, the record expiration date. You got to laugh out of it. Again, I often wonder, what makes you remember, what makes you forget these seemingly insignificant, just not even a tick on the milestone conversations. But nevertheless, I do remember that. So what makes that happen? I don't know. If you got thoughts, leave them in the comments. Or shoot me a line, john@anomicage.com. That works too. Anyway, so as I've been thinking about death, even more than usual lately, after my father's passing, it really puts everything in sharp relief, in perspective, if you will. That at the age I'm at, I'm not saying I got more days behind me than I have in front of me, but I'd say I'm almost at that halfway mark. I don't know. You just don't know. Nobody does, unless you're subscribing to the death clock. But anyway, it just makes you think, or at least it makes me think, about how much of this whole concept of time is just contrived, folks. It's just contrived. I'll read you the show bits here. I'll delve into the various machinations controlling our time and how to escape it. The various machinations, indeed. Because you might think, man, it's just a human construct, bro, as you kick your hacky sack around the drum circle and someone passes a joint. It's a human construct, man. It's nothing to worry about, John. But I don't know. It is a human construct. And I do hope of one thing in heaven. I hope there is no time. You often hear those folks in the near-death experiences sort of reeling through the fact that there is no time. They have encounters with loved ones and encounters with friends, and it all just happens in the blink of an eye, and then they are brought back to life on the table or on the stretcher or what have you, and alas, it's been much longer than it really was. I don't know if it's something like dream time. I don't know if you have this, but I'll have these very seemingly short dreams, but they just take forever. They just drag on and on and on, and you think you've been asleep for 15 minutes, but it's been more like 6 or 7 hours. But I digress, folks. It is all, in fact, a human construct, but there's so many machinations of it. That's what I really wanted to underscore. So it's not just one thing. It's not just this stupid daylight savings time, which I utterly hate, by the way. I like more nighttime, not less of it, for heaven's sakes. But anyway, I just wish they'd leave the time alone. But indeed, there's so many different elements that actually do control our time. If you think about it, folks, from birth until death, you're on somebody's game clock and or shot clock. You got to get up at a certain time to go to school. You got to get up at a certain time to go to work. You got to come home at a certain time to do this. You got to come home at a certain time to do that. You got that meeting coming up, you know. Click, click, click of the clock. You got that doctor's appointment. You got that birthday thing you're supposed to get. You forgot about that wedding invitation that you lost in the back of the car, and that's coming up in a few weeks. It's all time, folks. It's all predicated on time. How little and how much of it you have. And we're not even talking about the big time. The big time meaning how much time do you really have on this earth? I was talking to my daughter about that just the other day. I mean, so many people, you know, that whole thing, the best laid plans of mice and men. You got this great plan all figured out. You're going to do X, Y, and Z. You're going to do all that stuff I just told you we're going to do. But God's got his own plan for you. He might say, yo, your number's up, Billy. It's all over, buddy. Time to come home. So it really is all predicated on time. How much time you spend at this intersection? How much time you got left on the meter? How much time's left in this interview? It's all time, baby. It's all time. And I'll give you two different versions of this from popular culture. You know what? I've thought about this a lot lately, and this is me just conversating with you. I've gone to more church lately than I've probably gone in a long time because I think I finally found one that fits, but I digress. It just occurs to me in sermons, you know, the preacher is always connecting things to different parts of the Bible and then putting them back and applying them to your daily life, you know, if they're good anyway. And I was thinking about how I run my show, and it's in much the same way, except I kind of reflect it back into elements of popular culture or elements of antiquated culture and the like. So I guess, I don't know, some weird way it's kind of similar but different. Because as I was preparing for the show, I was going to play you some sound bits and everything else, but I'm on the YouTube again. So if you haven't done so already, like all the likes, subscribe to all the subscriptions on the YouTube. Become a patron. Give me a cup of coffee. All those lovely links over there on the right-hand side. If I don't plug myself, no one else will, you know. But anyway, back to the point. I often do parallel things to popular culture. And I got two for you this evening. It's evening somewhere, no matter where you are, what time it is, right? So I got two different parallels for you. One of them's from the Andy Griffith Show. Let me see if I can pull up the date and time on this one. This is kind of the positive spin, the glass half full side. This was called, quite apropos, the sermon for today, October 21st, 1963. Sermon for today. And if you're not an Andy Griffith Show aficionado, you should be. Simpler time. Happier time. Somebody's going a time that never was. Okay, fine. I'd still rather be there than here. Just saying. But I digress. So the sermon for today, I'll give you the synopsis of it. Basically, a pastor's up there giving a sermon. The whole town's there. Everybody's listening on bated breath. He's a pastor from upstate New York City, even, I do believe. Anyway, he gives a rousing sermon about pretty much what I just have been discussing, time, and about people not taking enough time, relaxing, enjoying life, if you will. Pastor says he's going to come back for dinner later at Andy's house, and the whole town's abuzz. They're going to get everything all spick and span, nice and clean, because they got company coming over, don't you know? Long story short, the whole town, or at least the small cast of characters that makes up the Andy Griffith universe, begins really busting their hump. They're going to build a bandstand. They're going to get the band together. They're going to have a little picnic on the lawn, don't you? All that good stuff. And before you know it, everybody's pooped. They come back to the house. They're all dragging. They just sitting there chilling. The preacher makes his way back in, and he's like, yo, I'm so glad y'all took my advice. You're relaxing. You did what I told you. You're relaxing. You're not worried about time. You're enjoying the life that you have left. Making sense yet? Piece of the puzzle number one. We got a piece of the puzzle number two coming to you from a great Southern classic. Let's see what this one's called, folks. In the Heat of the Night. Oh, yeah, baby. This is from 1989. One of my favorite, I got to say, probably my favorite In the Heat of the Night episodes. It's called a Trip Upstate. So we got Chief Gillespie going upstate, and he's going upstate because he gets an invite to someone he arrested is having their life snuffed out. They're being executed. And it runs through the play of how this came to be. The guy being executed, a couple other cons, robbing a bank. Everybody else gets shot except this guy. He's the getaway man. But he's still getting hung out to dry for the full bid and getting his life cut short. His time clocked out. And one of my favorite dialogues, I wish I could play it for you, but I ain't trying to get any hot water with the YouTube folks. He's basically belaboring the fact that Bill's first saying he's got to go back home. He didn't have time to stick around for his whole execution. He was just kind of going there as a favor to this guy to be nice, to be kind, if you will. And the prisoner begins to discuss how he's found the Lord and how time is whipping us all. Time has got us all, folks. And if you ever heard that little soliloquy there, I recommend you checking it out because it's beautiful. He says exactly what I've been saying. Time is whipping us all the way. From birth until death, somebody's always got somewhere to go, somewhere to be, somewhere to rush off to. And in fact, nobody but that guy, the guy on death row, actually knows how much time they really have left. That's what's up, folks. Expiration date. How much time do you have left? So I'll try to come to the point here at the end here. How to escape the clutches of time governors. Those time governors. All those things I've been talking about, folks. The parking meter. The timepiece on your wrist. The timepiece on your phone. That appointment coming up. That birthday party you don't really want to go to. All these time governors whipping you all the way. And the short of it is, I don't know how to get out of this morass, folks. Henry David Thoreau would say, simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. Simplify your life. You got to simplify your life. And it's not going to be easy. It's kind of like everything else, man. If you're quitting smoking, if you're quitting drinking, if you're just eating healthy, if you're starting to exercise, it's never going to be easy, folks. Never. It's not going to be easy to say, no, I'm going to pass on the chocolate cake right now. I'm going to get in shape. Man, I'm not going to hit that snooze again. I'm going to get up and at least do some push-ups next to the bed. I know better than to look at this mess. Cut that garbage off. So the journey of 1,000 miles begins with that first step. We got to take those small steps to reclaim our life from the clutches of the time governors, folks. All of it. Something we all have to do that we're probably not doing enough of is just spending time by ourselves. Time in reflection, contemplation. My daughter's been kicking my butt on her own prayer closet, man. I got to get in there. She's been kicking it real good. We got to do that kind of thing. Get in your little prayer closet. Sit in the car for a few minutes quietly. Cut off the radio. Put the phone in airplane mode and shut everybody down. Just get real with yourself. Think. Think about everything, but then think about nothing. You know, that old suicidal tendencies thing. I was thinking about everything, but then again, I was thinking about nothing. You know what I'm talking about. All I wanted was a Pepsi. So we definitely do have to take stock of everything, and we can't really take stock with all those idle distractions. Every single one of them. I've been happier than anything lately because I've been limiting my news intake, limiting my social media, limiting all that mess. Just cut it off. Cut it all off, folks. Simplify, simplify, simplify. There's a lot of stuff people do out of obligation. You're not obligated to do much in this world except live and die. That's about it, folks. You got to breathe, you got to eat, you got to sleep, you got to drink some water. That's the only real obligations you have. So cut off some of these obligations. You just obligated to nobody but guilt. You feel guilty if you don't go. You feel like you're letting somebody down if you say no. Sometimes you got to look out for number one, folks. Kind of like that spiel they hipped you with on the plane. You know, you got to put your mask on before you can help that person next to you. If you don't help yourself with your own mental, physical health, you're going to be of no consequence to those around you. It ain't going to matter how many birthdays you missed if you're in the ground. Take some time, folks. Take some time. Take some time for yourself. Take a walk by yourself around the neighborhood, if you can. Spend some time out there just looking at the proverbial reflecting pond. Sit out by a lake, a stream, a reservoir, a retention pond if you have to. Just sit out there, folks. Listen to the wind blow. Take it in, folks. Take it in slowly. Because like that old Bad Religion song says, life on earth is but a flash of dawn. We're all part of it as the day rolls on. So true, folks. So true. And when we're young, we think we're invincible. We think we're invincible because we think we have all the time in the world. Sometime about middle age, you go, oh, darn, my back hurts, my leg hurts, my knee ain't working right. You start going to a lot more funerals than you do weddings, and you start coming to grips with the reality of the fact you don't have unlimited lives. The shot clock is real. The game clock is real. You start looking in the mirror not recognizing that guy you see anymore. What happened to that guy? Got a scar over here, a gray over there. Little patch of hair missing over there. What's going down? What's going down is the expiration date's coming near, folks. For all of us. So we need to simplify, simplify, simplify. We got to take the steps that we need to take to really enjoy, to sip in the life that we have left. Not just gulp it. Sip it in, folks. I think that's about all I have to say about that for today, for now. Beware of the expiration dates, folks. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Make it as easy as you can on yourself. Remember, you're not really beholden to everybody else. Everybody else's feelings will be okay. They're just going to have to understand that sometimes you have to take care of yourself. Just tell people, I'm not going to make it to his birthday this year. I'm going to put on my own breathing mask. Just let people ponder that for a minute. Kind of like that old American Psycho thing. I'm taking back some videotapes. Just let people cogitate on what you're really thinking about, what you really mean. Say, yo, I'm going to take care of myself. If it's a self-help day. Self-help day is all right. You can't do everything, but you can do something. Get out there, do your part, make a difference. I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the anomic age.
Thank you for listening to The Anomic Age, a John Age project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to anomicage.com. That's ANOMICAGE.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to The Anomic Age.